Alright, welcome once again to my track guide video. This is how to do a 1 minute 37.6 in the Red Bull Junior around Dragon Trail Seaside for next week's Nations Cup Round 8. So the first thing that we're going to do heading into turn 1 is to brake at the start of the rumble strip. If you're using cones, you're actually going to be braking well after the cones. Braking at the cones, for the most part, you're losing too much time. You'll probably lose about 3 or 4 tenths even. But even just braking at the start of the rumble strip, full brake, you're able to slow the car down just enough. And I would go ahead and drop to 3rd gear. There. So here we go. Revving it out, 6th gear, do it at 143 miles an hour. Rumble strips, 3rd gear. And gas right away. There we go. Perfect. I wouldn't rev this car out too much. I would go ahead and full bar at maybe 1 or 2 miles an hour. Alright, heading into the next section. See the grass, how it changes from grass to sand? That's going to be your braking point. So once again, we're going to be braking well past the cones. Braking as late as possible. Also for this car, I am not using traction control, and my brake balance is actually 2 to the front, so that's -2. I tested a couple different brake balance settings. I found that -5 was just over the course of the race, you may find that the back end wants to kick out, therefore it's going to be more rear tire wear. And with my style of driving, usually requires me to, kind of brake a little bit late, having driven the high-end Digenesis for so many seasons. Alright, so just remember, grass to sand, that's your brake point. Here we go. Grass to sand, perfect. 3rd gear. That way you can brake just in time. Alright, now we're going down the hill. If you use the cones, see that cone right there? That's your gradual turning point. Now I found with this car it tends to understeer if you turn too vigorously. So if you jerk the joystick or the wheel too quick, you might find that the car wants to spin out, or you're definitely going to be hearing the tire squeal volume just shoot way up. So if you use cones, and I personally do, having been to a world tour and been in multiple top 16 superstar races, I still use cones sometimes, especially for a track like this where it's just super easy to miss your marks, and then suddenly you're a second off your pace. So through the S's, you can actually go flat out. You don't have to lift whatsoever. And now coming down the hill, between the 150 and the 100 board. So as the tradition continues, I wouldn't brake at those double cones. I'd go well past that. This car is designed to be able to outbrake most other cars. And this is very important. This particular turn, it's very easy to screw up if you don't downshift quickly in time. I would suggest dropping to 2nd gear as quickly as you can. If you're able to just click, 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 boom. That's the ideal. So it's going to be a full brake, drop to 2nd gear, make sure you're braking between the 150 board and the 100. That way you'll be able to make the turn in time. I find if you try and brake even later, you're going to go too wide, you're going to lose a lot of time, because this next section is very important to set up for the death chicane. So see that little shadow on the track? That's pretty much between the 100 and the 150 board. Alright, here we go again. Look for that 150. Boom, right in the middle. See how I dropped to 2nd gear? Slow the car down just in time. Alright, your marker heading into the death chicane. You're looking between the 50 and the 100 meter board. That's going to be your gradual turn in. And unlike a lot of tracks where you would think, oh, you know, are you cutting the rumble strip too much? Is that going to be a penalty? Well, as we've seen in, like at Monza, here in the FIA Nations Cup, you can be a little bit more aggressive and cut over certain sections of the track penalty free. Alright, once again, it's a pretty quick clip, but after we turn right, turn left, you're going to see an overhead like bar where like maybe a sign would be right there above us. That's your turn-in point. And again, go ahead and cut the track. You can get as close to the wall as possible. If you're perhaps a bit more hesitant, feel free to lift, but I'm sure a lot of us in top split will be going flat out for the entire duration of the race. Alright, one more time, here we go. 150 board, 100 board, turn. Use those curves. Overhead markers, turning point. So here we go. Let's kind of zoom in just to show you what the car looks like going over the rumble strips. Look how close that is. I know it's quite unnerving, but once you kind of have that feel for, oh, there's the overhead bar, I'm going to start turning in and straight shot it. I found that to be pretty effective versus, you know, maybe trying to brake a little bit later, brake a little too early. If you lift off all the way, you're most likely going to, of course, make the death chicane every time, but you may be losing out on, you know, up to even a second a lap. So just something to consider. This is what works for me, and if it works, if it helps you, excellent. But like I said, for this kind of race, I'll even find myself lifting just to be safe. Because you hit that wall, very unforgiving, getting full engine damage, and then suddenly you're sputtering around the track, going 60 miles an hour slower than everyone else. So, yeah, once again, look how close that is. So that's, for the most part, straight shotting it. Alright, one last time. Full curve, there's the overhead bar, turn in, straight shot. Rev it out, 143 miles an hour into sixth. Alright, the last part to get right is brake at the rumble strip. Just like in turn one, we're not really going to go for the double cones. We're going to go ahead and brake where the rumble strips start. I know some of the faster times, given this 137.56 is still, you know, almost a second behind the top times, and that's what I'm trying to figure out with you as well. Is, you know, how late can I brake, still make the turn, and not scrub off too much speed, especially if the back end wants to kick out. At all costs, those are the only rumble strips through the death chicane that I would run over. Most of the other ones, if you get too far over, the car is going to become very unbalanced. There we go, nice and tidy, full throttle. You can rev it out, but I wouldn't rev it out too much. The extra 2 or 3 miles an hour. And there we go. There's a 137.567. So it's about a second off the top time in NA. And as of right now, here on Sunday night, it's about a 10th off the top 10 leaderboard. So it's okay. Well, then go ahead and ride with me for the full lap. So remember what we've learned so far. Heading into turn one, what are we going to do? There's the rumble strips. We're going to downshift, third gear. You can full throttle about a little halfway through past the left apex. Again, heading downhill. What are we looking for? We're looking for that sand-grass combination right there on the left. There you go. And full throttle. Heading down the hill. If you're using cones, and I suggest you try it out, look for that cone. That's your turn-in marker, and it's a gradual turn, not just a jerk left, jerk right, because you can certainly lose a lot more time scrubbing off speed that way. Alright, shift at 143 into 6th gear. Alright, downhill, here we go. What are we looking for? Between that 150 and that 100 board. That's your braking point. Alright, enter the death chicane. Between the 150, between the 100 and the 50 is your turn in. Look for the bar overhead. Brake. Start turning in. Don't brake. And remember, you can cut both sides of the rumble strips exiting the death chicane. And the final turn, brake at the rumble strips. Turn 1, final turn, brake at the rumble strips. Alright everyone, thank you so much for watching. I hope some of these tips help you in your quest to beat me and get on those leaderboards. So there we are, 137.567. Appreciate you watching my video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.